Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Angular Team. Meet the Angular Team. With me today, I'm going to start that over. Okay, here we go. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode of Meet the Angular Team. With me today, I have Emma Twersky. Emma, how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing fantastic. It's Star Wars Day, watching some Star Wars movies and trying to do as little work as possible.
I love it.
Awesome. Well, we're excited to get an opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. So we're just going to start right in, okay?
Yeah.
So tell me, first off, how did you get into programming?
Oh, uh, that's a really good question. I was a math major in college, actually specifically I went to a liberal arts school, so like a theoretical math major. Like the less applied, the better. And I really hated that. I figured out pretty much as soon as it was possible to, or not possible to switch. And I figured out that I could do like research and actually write my whole thesis on things that I could like code and create demos for in graphics. So I was writing like P4JS, like just little snippets of like really visual stuff. And I really liked that part of it. And so I just sort of like went with that and grew from there.
Awesome. Awesome. That's very cool. So let's talk about your programming background. Did you end up learning a lot of programming languages or is it just a few?
I mean, I've jumped all over. Like I just said P4JS. I meant P5JS, but I mean, what is considered a language? Like I, started with CSS and HTML, which I think are the core of all languages. And then I actually ended up working on an Angular team out of college, just like sort of in a coding boot camp almost for a bank. And doing like web full stack. And I really liked that. And then I pivoted completely and worked on like a Android team doing payment stuff, which was completely different. And that was Kotlin. And I really loved that. I think Kotlin is super cool. And then I went back to Angular and now I'm on the Angular team and I'm writing TypeScript. So, I mean, yeah, I think I've like accidentally ended up switching languages every year or two.
Yeah, wow. So do you have a favorite technology that you don't use anymore?
I really love art and like art tech. And so when I was getting sort of bored at my old job, I started using Spark AR, which is like Meta, Facebook, whatever's like way of creating filters on Instagram, which is sort of like a GUI tool. So you like don't have to know how to code to do it, but if you know how to code, it's like 10 times cooler, and the APIs under the hood are like completely open, and you can do whatever you want with them.
Wow.
And so that is like you can write whatever you want, like Python, TypeScript, whatever. There, they like leave it completely open.
Huh.
So I'll do that every once in a while, but I've sort of stopped that.
Oh, that's cool. Very cool. All right. So let's talk about the Angular team. How long have you been on the Angular team and what's your role and what's a typical day like for you?
Yeah. So my name is Emma Twersky, and I am on the Angular team at Google. I specifically am a developer relations engineer, and I joined almost 2 years ago now, which is kind of wild because I've never actually gotten to go to an ng-conf or any event in person. I just met the team for the first time in person like a month ago. But yeah, 2 years, developer advocacy, developer relations engineering, which basically is just a really fancy way of saying that Angular is open source. And so it benefits from and grows with a community. And the community is the priority there. So my job is getting to spend time with the community.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So a typical day, what do you do most days?
Oh, well, today, there's no such thing as a typical day. It's like 50-50 getting feedback and changing Angular and then taking those changes that Angular is making and sharing them with the community. Right now, our big focus is V14, which by the time, and I don't know when this airs, but, by the time ng-conf comes around, will be a long gone story and will already be on V15.
Right.
But right now, my focus is creating all of the like release documentation. So writing the blog post, focusing on like making sure people know all the cool stuff in V14. I run our RFCs from like a community standpoint. So V14 specifically has 2 really big RFCs landing in it, typed forms, which people probably have heard of and know of.
Right.
And then also a developer preview of standalone components, which is the big one. They're both big. And then, you know, beyond that, the changelog has like 300 PRs marked as feature or something like that. And there's like a ton of cool stuff that nobody even knows made it in, because like, unless your job is mine, it's really hard to track everything that gets merged into a open source repo.
Right. Cool. All right. So let's talk a little bit about something. Maybe let's go a little bit more serious here. How do you deal with imposter syndrome when you encounter it?
Yeah, I mean, daily. Like, you know, here's the thing. I have one of the roles that I get to play is running our Google Developer Expert Program, or GDEs, which is just a thing that Google does to make sure that there's advocates in the community, especially speaking languages that maybe like, you know, the Angular team doesn't represent like every nation and every country and all of these great communities that exist. And so there's amazing community members doing that, and we want to recognize them and help them grow. But one of the really cool things about running that is like, I am the interface for all these experts. And every time I talk with them, I'm like, well, why do you need any information from me? Like, you are literally a certified expert in this thing. Like, what can I do for you? And every conversation I have is like, well, they feel the same way and they're recognized experts, and everybody I work with is so smart. But like, when you actually sit down and talk, they're like, I don't know, let's figure it out. And so I think my way of dealing with imposter syndrome is just realizing that everybody is. And if you ever run into me, I am also dealing with imposter syndrome and happy to talk. And people are a lot less scary when you realize that they're also scared.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about the small furry elephant in the room. Your cats. Is it just one cat or is it 2 cats? I've seen so many tails, I don't know.
I know, this is one cat. This is a Basil. Oh, she looks so grumpy.
Yeah.
Because I'm in developer relations, get to travel a lot for work, and especially we're starting to travel a little bit more. And also during the pandemic, I've been working at home. So my cats have become like big, they've grown like separation anxiety. Like cats, I don't know how to put it. I think cats normally are sort of like aloof, and I have managed to adopt 2 cats that are like the least aloof and the most interested in like humanism. Like, they think that they are humans. But yeah, I have 2. This is Basil. The other one is Rhubarb.
Okay, is basil named after the plant or the build tool?
The plant, but the team is like, oh, that's so convenient. Like, we use basil. And I'm like, no, I meant the herb. But my favorite pie is a strawberry rhubarb pie, and my favorite herb is basil.
Basil. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. All right. Well, we're going to switch over to our lightning round.
Okay.
And so I'm going to give you a bunch of A, B choices. You choose one. You could choose both or neither if you really have to, but we really want to know. We really want you to force yourself to choose one if you can. You ready to go?
Let's do it.
Okay. We're going to start with something pretty straightforward and common. Kirk or Picard?
I don't watch them. I'm sorry.
So
Everyone on this
neither. Like, there's enough pop culture you've certainly encountered.
I don't want to offend. I am not educated enough to have an opinion.
All right. Okay, so let's move on from that. Ruby or Scala?
Ruby.
Okay. Game of Thrones or Squid Game?
That's hard. Squid Game. Game of Thrones though, because HBO.
Okay. Mickey or Goofy?
Mickey.
Manga or mangoes?
Mangoes.
Twilight or Batman?
Twilight. I'm so sorry. Kristen
Awesome.
Stewart's great.
Okay. Veet or Webpack?
Webpack.
Okay. All right, last one. Billie Eilish or Billy Joel?
Oh, Billie Eilish. I'm so sorry, everyone.
You're apologetic.
I know. I mean, I know my opinions are wrong, but they're my opinions. I'm sorry. I did just go to a Billie Eilish concert, so
Did you
know.
really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, I know. So it was great. She's great. Love her. But
Cool. Well, thank you so much for taking your time to come and chat with us. It's been really awesome getting to know you a little bit better. Hope that everybody else enjoyed it as much as I did, and super looking forward to getting to meet you and all the rest of the community in person at ng-conf.
yeah, excited to be there and meet everyone too. Come say hi. Yeah.